Before I forget, I'm going to make a stone drill from natural tools, using natural tools. I've been promising that for a while, or I've had that promise on the back burner for a while. So I want to do that hopefully quickly here. You can tell I'm winging it because everything is falling to pieces. I was busy doing something else and I said, wait a minute, I forgot to do the drill with natural tools. So let's see if I can do it. Okay. I kind of want to do a silent video on this, but no, I'll discuss it a little bit, or I'll do some discussing. I have some backup materials here in case I break it the first time. Now, do I think that some of these drills were made from spalls like this, just straight intended to be drills instead of using a broken arrowhead or a used up projectile point or used up knife of some sort? Do I think they were made straight as drills? Well, I think definitely in some cases, yes. If you need a drill of a certain size and you don't have anything else, everything else is being used for other things, then yeah, you would use a spall specifically for the drill, especially if it was a gnarly one like I just grabbed. So yeah, this is the process they used. In some cases, yes, I think so. What about in most cases? I don't know. I have no idea really about most cases. It would make sense to, utilize a broken projectile point. But who knows? Maybe it was bad luck to use a broken projectile point. You never know. Bad luck. Yeah, you know how it is back in the day. Back in the day, luck seemed to have ruled everything. Not only that, seemed like luck was intelligent. It knew what it wanted, when it wanted, and it was going to get it no matter what. And since you knew it was going to get what it wanted no matter what, you would think to yourself, or some people would think to themselves, what if we just give luck what it wants? And that way, if we control what it gets, we can save ourselves some misery. Yeah, if we control what it gets, if a certain number of people are going to die every year, let's say, of disease or whatever, from whatever reasons, there's going to be a certain number of people that die every year. We've counted up over the last 50 years, and we got 14 people that die every year, minimum. What if we just sacrifice 14 people to luck? And then the rest of us will survive. Sound like a good idea? And what if we don't survive? Well, that means luck wanted more people anyway. Oh, okay. We don't know exactly what luck wants. We just know the estimate, because we've been keeping track every year. So let's just give luck what it wants, and maybe it'll save the rest of us. That's where I think sacrifice comes from. Human sacrifice, animal sacrifice. To appease fate. Why do I even mention that? Why do I mention that? In the context of flint napping. Well, I started off with maybe it was bad luck to use a broken point. Maybe fate already claimed that one. It doesn't want you to reuse it. It belongs to fate now. It belongs to the bad luck thing. And if you mess with the bad luck thing, it'll mess with you. Don't mess with the stuff that belongs to the bad luck. The bad luck thing. Alright, so yeah, it's a little bit smaller than I was thinking it was going to be. Why did I go to town on this? It's got a lot of cortex. It's got a lot of cracks. Internal issues. I still didn't get the internal issues out here. Still something weird right there. There are weird spots all over it when I was napping it. We'll see. Maybe I can get that out. Could I have done that a little bit better with the hammerstone? I suppose so. Yeah. I don't want to make this a 5-part series. If you don't mind, I'd rather not make it a 5-part series or a 10-part series or whatever. I'm trying to get this done. Now, I've seen guys do a really good job in a short period of time. What's the problem? What's the problem? I don't know, that's the problem there, I think. Try to rush it. If I want to do a good job, I cannot rush it. But I am going to rush it, so it's not going to be that great. You're going to see what happens. And it's going to be what it's going to be. Is this easy material? Some of it naps really easy, some of it doesn't. So, just the unpredictability drops it down a couple points. So if it was an 8, it's down to 6 now. And when it's got concrete, it drops it even lower, so it's about a 4. Even though there are spots in it that are beautiful and translucent that I can use later for a little bird point. I should probably do more bird point videos, because that one video where I have a little yellow arrowhead is extremely popular. But if I give you the secrets of hefting an adze blade, get like 1/20th the views. Yeah. So maybe I'll just do little bitty point arrowheads videos. Yeah. Who wants to know? I mean, who cares about adzes, right? Apparently nobody. Am I bitter? Am I complaining? No, because I'm still going to do them because I like doing it. Still going to do it. That's where my interests lie. In more than just the flint napping. I think it's interesting to start doing some woodworking. course, if I had the ability, or not the ability, but, well, yes, I don't have a computer, but if I had the will to show you all sorts of different techniques and then edit it all together in one video on how to build adzes, yeah, it'll probably get a lot more views, because then I can put like 12 different variations in one video and just edit it all together, squish it down to 15 minutes. And just show you the completed objects and maybe snippets of the process. Snippets? Yeah, little clips of the process, and just edit it all together. Could probably get thousands and more views. Yeah. But I got a life. That would take me forever. And then I wouldn't have any auctions. Everybody on the side will have to wait longer. Which reminds me, I was just thinking about those kind of things that'll work on the side. Seems like it'd be a no-brainer, pretty easy to accomplish. The thing about doing specific projects is if there's a failure somewhere along the line, you gotta start over. Like with Flintknapping, if I break this in half, it's a failure. I had to start over again. If I was supposed to make this drill by deadline, like I've got until minute 19 to finish up, how successful do you think that would be? Same with side projects. If I have 2 days to finish up something that could fail and I gotta start all over again, and maybe it's going to take me 3 days to finish it from start to finish, and I'm already into day 1, and then I got 2 more days before the deadline, and then I break it or something happens, start all over again. I got 3 days ahead of me again. Call the guy. We got a little setback because it's dicey. Knapping is dicey. Alright, fine. And, okay, start all over again. This time you're depending on someone else to ship you some stone for the next attempt. Okay, stone delay. Alright, fine. So you wait for the stone. And turns out you forgot your order. So what do? You don't want to call the guy back. You know, the shipment that I thought I was going to get, that's going to be delayed again. So what you do is, instead of doing that, you look through all your stuff. You say, maybe I can make it work with this. So I'm going to try to make it work with this that I have. And while you're doing that, you have other projects that are waiting. But you're going to try to fill this one order in time with the stuff you have. Alright, cool. Turns out the stuff you have didn't work out very well. So now you're sitting there. Stuff you have didn't work. The order is late. You haven't told the guy yet that the order is going to be late again. And then you got to say, you know what? The order is still late. I tried working with some other stuff I had. It didn't work. You got to, and if you still want it, I'll still work on it. Let's just skip it. Okay. Alrighty, no problem. So you skip it, and all this time you just spent on it was for naught. What about all the other projects? You're sitting there waiting while you were messing with this one particular project that didn't work out. And that sort of thing. That's just the way it works when you work with a material that's not predictable. like stone. Suppliers that have to depend upon whether the stone is available the next time they go looking for it, or maybe they order it from someone else and they're just a middleman. Maybe they have delays, and well, for some reason our stock has run out. I went out to the field, I went out to the pasture. We don't got no more left. Nature says we don't got no more. So I've been having to scramble around looking for another area to look. Can't find the area, so I don't know. Delayed indefinitely. Can we help you with something else? So you try to substitute what you're thinking you need with something else. Are we seeing a pattern here? Everybody has setbacks in this particular line of work. Most of the time it runs okay, especially if you have multiple sources and backups. If you have some redundancy. Like let's say I would have 8 suppliers instead of 1. One of those suppliers is going to have the material I need, right? Right. But in order to make sure you get the shipment on time, you should have like 2 suppliers going at all times. So you're ordering basically twice as much material as what you need, just in case one of them doesn't pan out. So you've got twice as much money wrapped up in ordering than you normally would if it was a consistent material like art supplies. Regular art supplies, you can just order from one supplier and be pretty much guaranteed that you're going to get it. But this particular hobby or business isn't like that. Everything is variable. Everything. So if I got projects on the side, this is what happens. I need to order twice as much material as what I need. I need to have twice as much on hand just in case I break something. And I need to spend twice as much time on it because I'm putting a priority on it. If I have a setback, I can't just quit. I've got to start over. So when you average it out, you're spending about twice as much time, even though sometimes you're spending 4 or 5, 6 times more time, 6 times as much time as you normally would. But it averages out to maybe twice as much time. You just take everything in the aggregate all together. So that's how it goes. And then there are some days you feel sick. If you take a sick day and you got a deadline, or you tell someone you're going to make it by a certain day, oops, it's just another thing you got to tell them. Yeah, I'm sick. Got a delay. Delay after delay after delay in some cases. And it usually happens that if you're delayed once, you're probably going to be delayed twice. And the guy that you're going to delay with is the one you just delayed with a little while ago. He goes, what's up, man? Well, I'm making you don't tell him this, but you're making the priority his stuff. His stuff is a priority, so everything else is on hold. And then if you fail, you got to start over again, and you're still working on this project. And if you fail again, you got to start over again. You're still working on his project only. I don't know. I think you can see where I'm going. It takes forever. And then there's sometimes when I'm talking about my own experiences, right? Maybe some of you guys can relate. There's some people waiting for me to make bows. They've probably given up already, because I pretty much gave up making bows because it became just as dicey as making stuff out of stone. The wood I was using was getting dried out, And every time I go to tiller a bow, right at the final stages, after putting in all that time to season it, you know, obtain the wood, season it, store it properly, check on it, weigh it, all this time, and then do the tillering. And during the final stages, you find out that the wood that you thought was flexible now is way too brittle, and it snaps. Snaps somewhere. It doesn't even have to snap completely. It just has to do a little crack in there, just a little bit, and you think, you know what, I can't sell this now. I heard a crack. I know that crack is going to be bad. I can't sell it now. So you start over. It got to the point where I couldn't make a bow at all. No matter how long I tried, I couldn't make a bow that was sellable. And a lot of it had to do with not having a good stockpile of wood, because space considerations. Not all the wood that I was stockpiling was compatible with the environment, with the heat and the dryness. Blah, 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 blah. It just got to the point where I just couldn't make one that I could sell. And it was a very disappointing thing. And I had to tell the guys, you know, I just haven't been able to do it. Not until I can have a much better environment for storing, for one, a much bigger storage area, and options, different options in case this particular wood fails. So I can't just store one type of wood, I gotta have different types. I had one year where all my elm got little holes in it, and I think it's because it didn't dry out fast enough. It dried slowly, and the insects got to it. I took, even with the bark off, I saw little holes in it, and I never seen them in the elm before. But that particular year, all the wood had little holes in it. And it wasn't all through the whole stave, it was just in some little spots. You still can't sell it with that. You can't sell the bow with the little holes in it. So there I go. Scrambling for some more. Trying to figure out how to dry it so that it can be available now. And you're working on designs for a drying system, drying area. Turns out you need a lot of room for the experiments that you're doing on the drying area. You don't want to just set up one and then fail, and then another one and then fail. You set up, 2 or 3 drying areas, see which one works. Why do you need 2 or 3? Well, because one you try with a heater and no dehumidifier, one with a dehumidifier, one with a fan only, one with a fan, dehumidifier, and a heat source, depending on the season. So you try different things and you see how it goes. Turns out the fan is sufficient. Like in my case, the fan was sufficient, but still spent time on the other ones. And blah blah blah. You go through all this stuff. Anyway, long story short, it gets old and you get kind of sick of it. Now, why am I talking about something that's depressing and I don't want to hear that. I want to hear some funny stuff, voices and funny things and experiences that are Funny. Yeah. No, I don't know. I just talked about that today because it was on my mind. Like I said, I just go over and talk about things that are on my mind for that particular day. I have a better environment for seasoning bows where I am, so I'm going to get back into it. Now the insects here are an issue. The mold is an issue as well, but I think I can deal with it. I got insect repellent. It's not that expensive. I got a storage unit. They're not that expensive. I was surprised that storage units here are cheaper than they are back home in Texas. It surprised me. So yeah, I got plenty of room. Temperature seems okay. Humidity levels seem to be not too dry. Back where I was living, they were absolutely way too dry. Many days, 40% humidity average. Sometimes down to 20, sometimes less than 20% humidity. That's just way too low, especially when it's hot. It messes with the wood. It dries it unevenly. When you have an uneven drying and you have it, sometimes it's harder on the outside than on the inside. You got issues when you start tillering. Yeah. It starts out, it looks like it's going to be a 50-pound bow. You shave off a bunch of wood. Turns out you shaved off the strong part of the wood and the wood underneath is weaker. So it went to be like, it looked like it was going to be 50 pounds and it went down to 20 pounds because the wood that you're now shaving was under the hardened wood, and now you got to start over because it just, you can't do anything with a 20-pound bow. Sell it to kids, yeah. That's about it. But the kids' bows are not going to pay the rent. Not usually. It's the higher end bows, the ones that require a lot of specialized techniques, you know, reflex, recurve tips. Zero set tillering in some cases. That kind of thing. For you guys that know. But I've got more time now. I have 6 children. I've got more time now because they're all grown up. They're all pretty much independent. I don't have to be Mr. Taxi. I don't have to be Mr. Can you do this real quick? Can you do that real quick? Because I don't know how to do it. Or can you help me do this? And yeah, okay, yeah. I got experience in doing that. I'll help you. And you know, blah, blah, blah. But now they got to know how to do stuff. And they're pretty much in a little routine, most of them. And now I can focus on making drills with natural tools. Focus on maybe making some bows. Yeah. Maybe making some woodworking tools. All right, we're at 29 minutes. I'm almost done with this drill. On this particular one, hopefully you can see what I did or see what I'm doing. I put a bevel in it, or I beveled it. Now the quality of the flint It's about a 7 or 8. It's high quality, but it has like internal defects. Once in a while you hit a concrete spot that brings it down to about a 3 or 4. But for most practical purposes, I would say this is better than average flint or chert. Why did I take the tip off? Because that's going to break off anyway. It's got to be a strong tip. It doesn't have to be symmetrical too much, but not at the tip. On the sides, yes. But it's best, I suppose, to have it symmetrical everywhere. Yep, and that's about it for the video. Let me do a little bit more on the symmetry. All right, so these little protrusions are going to wear themselves down. It's going to get smoother after you use it. You don't really need to knock all of those off, but it helps. It helps to make the drill with a soft tool. Why? So you don't crush the edges. You want them to be sharp. And the way I use drills is mainly for finishing up. To start with, you start with a natural flake that's already long, not like that. Let's see. Anyway, you start with a natural flake that's already long, and you do the preliminary drilling, and then you finish up with this. You finish up with the drill that's made for the specific item you want to put into the hole that you just drilled. I prefer to use a bevel because that's the fastest and easiest way to shape it. All right, the base doesn't need to be perfect at all. You can haft it or you can hold it. So there it is. The drill with natural tools. Started from a spall. Hope that answered that question. I'll do another one if you want. But yeah, that's the way I would do a drill that actually is used to drill something. And now there's others that are called perforators. Usually a perforator, you can tell it's a perforator and not a drill because it's curved in some way. It's either curved in this direction, curved from this view, the plan view, or curved from the side view. But a drill that's used to drill a hole is usually symmetrical and straight in both directions. That way and that way. Okay. All right.